It is the second Monday of October, but the first feeling of winter. We could have snow by the end of the night at Invesco Field at Mile High. But a little precipitation does not dampen the enthusiasm when it's a Bronco game night in the Mile High City. We welcome you to the end of week 5 of the NFL season. Mike Tirico, glad you're on board for Monday Night Football. 3 unbeatens left in the National Football League. Of course, you have Chicago, Indianapolis, and Baltimore at 4-0, although it's a bit specious 4-0. If you look at the 4 teams they've beaten, they have a total of 4 wins. Meantime, the Broncos are 2-1 off a bye week, and before that, they went to New England and beat the Patriots. 2 coaches tonight, Brian Billick, Mike Shanahan. Both won Super Bowls, both known as offensive geniuses, if you will, but it's their defense that has them in a good spot through the first month of the season. On board, of course, with Joe Theismann and Tony Kornheiser, and we start with the quarterbacks having to be so precise tonight because the defenses are so good, and you start with Baltimore's Steve McNair, acquired in the trade from Tennessee. What has he done the last 2 weeks? Back-to-back fourth-quarter rallies to win.
Mike, he has led them to back-to-back comebacks. The problem is they don't want to make a habit out of this. The Ravens want to find some offense early in the game. As a matter of fact, Brian Billick has spent some time looking at film of Steve McNair, trying to figure out what he does well. He really figured out that he plays a brand of street ball. That doesn't mean look at receiver 1, look at receiver 2, look at receiver 3. Basically, it means, Steve, drop back. If the guy looks like he's open, just fire the football to him. That seemed to work out quite well, Mike. They're just going to have to get to it a little bit earlier.
Well, Steve gets used to the system. It's the situation for his opposite number tonight, Jake Plummer, who has, let's face it, Tony, the only sports job in Denver that matters.
Absolutely. Long before there were the Rockies or the Avalanche or the Nuggets, long before all of them were the Denver Broncos, one of 8 original teams in the old AFL. Most Americans over 40 first heard of Mountain Time because of the Denver Broncos and Mile High Stadium. Other than that, what's out here? I mean, besides sheep. Like Green Bay and Washington, Denver is a football city first, last, and always. When the Broncos play, the streets in Colorado are dead. Everybody's inside watching. The biggest Bronco of all, of course, is John Elway, who took Denver to 5 Super Bowls. People here are waiting impatiently for one from Jake Plummer. Plummer's fatal flaw, he's not Elway. He isn't as polished as Elway, isn't as handsome as Elway, doesn't have as many teeth as Elway. Instead, Plummer has made news by having road rage and flipping off some fans. And you can't fumble twice and throw 2 interceptions in the AFC title game against Pittsburgh and have anybody in Denver love you like they love John Elway. Plummer's career season went south right then, and he knew it. Being the Broncos quarterback is the most important job in the whole state of Colorado. John Elway casts a giant shadow in that job even now. How sweaty you think it gets in that shade, huh?
Well, if that's not making you sweaty, the Ravens defense will. If you love defense, you're in the right place tonight because they both bring it. Ray Lewis and company for the Baltimore side, and on the Denver side, John Lynch and company. Susie Calper, Michelle Tafoya, tell us about these defenses when you come back.
Opportunities, opponents have come away with just 1 touchdown. Pro Bowl safety John Lynch told us this Denver defense is excited about being compared to Baltimore tonight. He said, in a game like this, we have a great opportunity to play better than the best. And tonight, John Lynch is wired for sound.
Go. Now hit it on the head, fellas. Everybody's talked about them all week. You want respect in life, you go take it. You earn it. We earn it by hitting them in the mouth all night long. And when the ball's loose, it's ours. When the ball's up in the air, it's ours. Attack all night long. Attack. They won't fall forward. Let's go get their ass.
Can you listen to that and not hit the up arrow on the volume? Every time I hear that, I want to hear it louder. And so did they here at Invesco Field at Mile High. It's cold. It's nasty. It's 39 at kick. It's snowing at higher elevations. Might snow, maybe not during this game, but by the end of the night. But that has not stopped the Bronco fans. They are here in their warm clothes and ready.
When you say it's snowing at higher elevations, we're pretty high up in this stadium. It might get to us in a little while.
It might get here eventually.
Yeah.
Mile High plus. It is Paul Ernster who is set to kick it off for Denver. B.J. Sams, one of the top kickoff return men in the league, back to receive, and off we go from the Mile High City. Ernster across the 15, and he's brought down at the 20-yard line by Patrick Chikura. So here comes Steve McNair, as we mentioned at the top. What a career he had with Tennessee, and then he comes over to Baltimore via the trade when he was essentially told by Tennessee, we're moving on, we're moving in a different direction. So McNair has led this Ravens team to a franchise-first 4-0 start. The three-time Pro Bowler, co-MVP of the league in 2003, opens the night from the 20.
And to anchor the offensive line, Benson moving over to the backs and tight ends. We start with number 9. You all know him, Aaron McNair, moving over to the All-American, Todd Heap, and alongside of me, the youngest of the bunch, Mark Clayton.
Clayton, the all-time leading receiver at Oklahoma in his second year. 2nd and 8. Back to Lewis. Lone man gets in the way, gain of about 4.5. Looking at 3rd and 4. Kennard Lang introduces us to the Broncos defense.
First, we got the D-line led by your boy, K. Lane Whitty. Then we got Michael Myers, Eminem. Then we got Big Money, Gerard Warren. Then last but not least, Ebenezer W. Ekibon. Then we got the linebackers, headed by All-Pro Al Wilson. Then we got the headhunters in the backfield, led by all-corner, shutdown corner, Champ Bailey. Then the man himself, John Lynch.
As Michelle mentioned, Lynch wearing a microphone tonight. Bailey as good as it gets as a cover corner in the league. 3rd and 4, McNair first throw. He'll keep it. He'll get the first down at the 32. The speed of Ian Gold chasing him to the sideline, but too late.
Even though Steve McNair has not taken off a lot lately, hasn't run for a lot of yards in recent years, he's still very, very good at picking his spots. And here's one where the pressure comes up outside, doesn't like what he sees, still has the wheels. Remember, it was his sternum that was hurt, not his legs.
Don't want to have to make a living running, though, at his age, do you?
At any age.
Steve is 33, his 12th year in the league. Picked up the first down to 32. And this is the first pass of the night, in and out of the hands of Todd Heap. Sam Brandon, the safety, was there just in case. Well, we referenced it at the beginning. Here's Baltimore 4-0. Offense wasn't running smooth, but 2 game-winning drives, and McNair did a lot. 6 of 9, 52 yards in the drive that culminated with a 52-yard game winner from Matt Stover. And then last week against San Diego, the touchdown to Todd Heap with 34 seconds left. And I love what Derek Mason, the wide receiver who was with him in Tennessee, told us last night, guys. Steve has a presence. He comes in those late-minute situations, end of half, end of game. You feel like he's going to get it done.
They said not too many quarterbacks are built for that moment, and Steve McNair is.
Second and 10, pressure, and McNair is brought down by Ebenezer Ekibon.
The speed with which these defensive ends can close. We saw Elvis Dumerville on the pressure before. Now from the left side of your screen. Here comes Ebenezer. He just goes right inside of Jonathan Ogden. Ogden wasn't sure who to block. Didn't block anybody. That means that Steve McNair's got to pick it up.
Ekibon is one of the 5 ex-Cleveland Browns who played defensive line for Denver. 4 of them in action tonight. Courtney Brown, the former #1 overall pick, been out all year with a knee injury. 3rd down. Play is stopped with a flag that was hard to hear because of all the noise. Walt Coleman is our referee here tonight.
Going to be a delay game.
Delay.
That Cleveland Brown thing is so odd. You wonder how good the Browns would be if they kept all of these people, or maybe just when you're with the Browns, you're no good, and if you go someplace else, it works out for you. But you'd never think Denver would say, let's go get all the Cleveland Browns.
Not only that, they brought the defensive line coach here as well.
Well, they had to. He knew all the guys.
Third and a quarter of the field. And just run it with Musa Smith out of Georgia. Brought down to the 23 by Al Wilson. 1 first down picked up on the first drive, and now Baltimore punts. Sam Cook's a rookie out of Nebraska, drafted in the 6th round. Pretty good kicker, averaging 44 yards. Darren Williams is a good punt returner most times, but nobody's been good returning anything for the Broncos. Their special team returns, although few opportunities in the first 3 games, has been just bad. Cook's kick very high and good depth to it, 51 yards. From the 25, Williams dancing and kept it alive to get a return of 12 yards. He's taken out of the 37-yard line. Decent field position for the 10-year NFL veteran Jake Plummer, who's on the field when you come back. The toughest place to come into the National Football League and win a road game. 3 out of every 4 teams leave with a loss. Best in the league since '74. And you know what? It's true for the Rockies and the Nuggets in baseball and the NBA relative to home win percentage and road win percentage. You're good in Denver. First opportunity to run in the hands of Javon Walker, pushed out of bounds by Ed Reed, and Jake Plummer introduces us to his offensive mates with the Broncos.
My O-line up front, Big Fizzle Leps on my ends. Got Cooper and Ben inside with Tommy Nalen in the middle. Steve Alexander tight end. Got Rod and Javon outside making plays for me. And behind me, you got Kyle Johnson fullback, Tatum Bell running back.
And Tatum Bell, part of a story. It looks like Mike Bell, the undrafted rookie out of Arizona, was going to be the #1 back. They alternated during the start of the season, the first couple of games, but now it is Tatum's job. 3rd-year back out of Oklahoma State. Movement up front as Bell carries to the right side into the teeth of that Raven defense. This defense calls itself organized chaos.
And it's a very good description of them, too.
And they're trying to create some, not just for the Broncos, but the officials, as Ray Lewis is in there negotiating on this call.
As much as the Ravens jump around on the defensive side of the ball, look for Jake Plummer to go with a lot of hard counts. Now, Tony, that's when you go, hut, hut, hut. You know, you raise your voice a little bit to try and get them to jump offside because they're so active.
Encroachment. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Thank you for explaining hard counts. Later, I'd like you to deal with offsides and perhaps, you know, the 2-point conversion.
Yes, I'll be happy to get to that. My pleasure.
Ray Lewis was
well, you didn't know what a silent count was.
Did not.
Ray Lewis was hopping in there early. This defense, guys, has only given up 33 points all year. 8.3 per game. Plummer first pass, swing out, Tatum Bell. Nowhere to go, and he lost the football, and what a job to collect himself and recover it by Chris McAllister. It is Ravens ball. He stopped on the sideline after Terrell Suggs knocked it free, had control before he went out of bounds, and it looks like a turnover.
Suggs does a good job of knocking the ball loose. Remember, the weather's bad. Look at him get his feet in, just like a wide receiver. Just like somebody taptoeing on the sidelines. Wow. Chris McAllister's having himself an all-pro year. Already has 2 interceptions so far this season and is playing like a man possessed. We did a preseason game, and I walked by him. I said, how's it going? He said, not as good as it's going to go in the regular season.
You saw the shot of Mike Shanahan. He was looking up at the big screen just to check if there should be a replay challenge or not. Mike also uses almost a voice vote of all of his assistant coaches in his head. What do you think? That was pretty clear. It was a great play by Suggs to knock it free. McAllister to recover. Working off the game's first turnover. McNair gives to Jamal Lewis. John Lynch with a hit, a gain of about 3. Al Wilson there as well. And the hitting continues right to the echo of the whistle. So Jamal Lewis, he had the season as the Offensive Player of the Year, the Pro Bowl season in 2003, 2,066 yards, only Eric Dickerson better, but then 1,000 yet less in 04 and under 1,000 in 05. And the question becomes, what happened to Jamal Lewis? If the legal issue he had to deal with was in jail for 4 months, a halfway house for 2 months, and then after that, he had ankle surgery. So there were a lot of extenuating circumstances, but we haven't seen the guy we got used to in 03. There he is, running hard to the left side, getting to the 34-yard line.
Michael, one other part to the description that you just gave about Jamal is they were beat up bad in the offensive line. So often we talk about the running back and what they can do, but it's those 5 guys up front. If they're healthy, they can get it done. Take a look at Sean Alexander last year with the yards that he had leading the league. A lot of that had to do with the 5 guys up front.
But you can't have the lead back averaging 3.3 yards a carry. You can't have that. You have to change backs or start throwing the ball all the time.
3rd and 4. McNair gets the towel out of the way, so Mike Flynn's shotgun snap doesn't hit it. Felt the pressure, got rid of it, complete for the first down to Mark Clayton. It'll be marked at the 28-yard line. Dominique Foxworth on the tackle.
This game for both offenses is all about manageable 3rd downs. Those are 3rd downs that are 3, 4, 5, and 6. Nice set, good move, short pass. You're going to be able to get away from the defender quickly when you make your decisions in this kind of weather because they have to be careful of their footing.
And a first down throw by McNair, complete to Todd Heap. Keeps the play alive, yards shy of the first down, gain of 9. And here's Susie Colbert.
Mike, I called Titans head coach Jeff Fisher to talk about Steve McNair. The first words out of Jeff's mouth, I miss him so much. He said it's like sending your first kid off to college. We were together almost every day for 10 years. On the field, Jeff misses Steve's consistent approach. He said he never changes. He called him the most competitive person he's ever met, not outwardly, but inside he will always find a way to win. But what Jeff really wanted everyone to know is how close of friends they still are.
It was a very confusing situation. The guy who is so close with the head coach wanted to be there in many ways. Lewis, nice run across the 15. Lynch the hit, but it's a first down at the 13-yard line. Susie, just back on McNair in Tennessee, with all those good feelings between he and Jeff Fisher, why isn't he there anymore?
Well, look, Jeff is the ultimate company man, so he's not going to criticize the Titans organization. But other people close to the situation shared with me that when Steve McNair showed up in the offseason to work out, was asked to leave the facility, Jeff Fisher was out of town. He didn't even know what was going on. It's certain that if he and Jeff would have been able to talk it out, they could have found a way for Steve to finish his career there. But management wanted Vince Young. He was targeted as the starter.
And a 4th-round pick trade later. Here's McNair leading the Ravens in the red zone. Jamal Lewis gets stuck by Al Wilson, the middle linebacker, formerly from Tennessee. He doesn't get the Ray Lewis type pub, but has those kind of hits.
No, he sure doesn't. And you're not going to be able to run at the edge of this defense. You're going to have to do what Jamal Lewis did on the last carry, run inside the tight ends. This defense is way too fast, and Al Wilson in particular can go sideline to sideline in a heartbeat.
You know, the red zone defense for both these teams is the best in the league. Denver's is #1, Baltimore's is #2.
So which means that they shouldn't
You're not expecting a lot. Right.
Second and 10, Dan Wilcox, the tight end in motion. McNair looked for Heap, didn't have him underneath. It's Jamal Lewis. Very little room to go. We have 3rd down coming up.
Luckily, we've got a quarterback in the booth. It is rainy conditions, cold, bad conditions. How much is the actual pass affected by that?
It's not. Actually, the ball gets a little bit more tacky and is easier to throw as long as it's not raining real hard.
So it's easier now?
It's a little bit easier to grip it unless it gets really wet. But Al Wilson, he showed you the quickness that time. McNair had a lot of time to throw the football on that last play.
3rd down. 4 receivers. Broncos change the look, and they come in with a timeout call by Denver in the secondary with a little bit of confusion. Bronco timeout. 3rd down from the 12. When we come back. England, no touchdowns, first 11 quarters. That hadn't happened in the NFL in 64 years, I should say, since 42. 3rd and 9 from the 12. 5 receivers in time for McNair. Finally dumps it down to Clayton, trying to fight for the yards. And he's down at the 6.
That's a really big play for Denver defensively. In a game like this, with these defenses and the conditions the way they are, it's really, really going to be difficult to get touchdowns. So you have to hold the team to field goals because you can drive down and get the chance to make them. McNair showed you again his mobility, but what has impressed me down here is the line blocking. He's had 5-6 seconds to be able to throw the football, not been able to find anyone.
Matt Stover for his 30th consecutive field goal. It will be 24 yards officially. Good job with the snap by Cook. Gets it down, and he now moves to within 12 of Mike Vanderjagt for the record for most consecutive field goals in NFL history.
It's interesting. This is all brought on by a fumble. The one statistic that Mike Shanahan believes in is turnovers, and they cost his team right here.
Quincy Morgan runs up to get the kickoff. Free agent signed after the season started off the Pittsburgh roster. He's cut there by the champs, and he's out to the 28-yard line, tackled by Ovi Muhele. Jake Plummer in the offense trying to get back on the board when you come back. Broncos fans away. There's Jake Plummer, of course, started his career in Arizona. Tonight, trying to get a win to get his career record above 500. It has never been above 500. Obviously, 30 and 52 in Arizona is going to set you back. But he's 22 games over 500 as the starter here in Denver. From the 28, a run with Bell for just a couple of yards. Haloti Ngata, first-round pick out of Oregon, made the play.
Okay, now we have to show this graphic of my fantasy team right now with Jay Rothman, the producer of this show. We have 86 points, but we're still alive. If Plummer gives us a great night, if Mike Anderson gives us anything at all, then we have a chance. You may wonder why we have Adam Vinatieri. I wonder myself. Here's what you may also wonder. Jay dropped Donovan McNabb this weekend. He got 33 points yesterday, and we're riding with Plummer because you want to have some action in the Monday night game.
Complaining about your team.
I'm not complaining, but I need Plummer to be great. Do you understand?
So do the Broncos.
Here he is on 2nd and 7 with
Go,
a completion
baby!
for the first down to Javon Walker. So Walker makes you upset. Aren't you the guy who sucked up to Donovan McNabb when we saw him 2 weeks ago? How great it is you're my fantasy quarterback.
Because I had him 2 weeks ago.
That's a good, smart move not to play him yesterday against T.O.
Oh, you think that maybe just gaining 354 yards and throwing for 2 touchdown passes is good and I should have held on?
No.
Perhaps.
But Walker, Joe, is a guy who's going to give Plummer the opportunity to get bigger gains here this year.
Big offseason acquisition. Gives him experience, size, and speed on the outside.
Coming over via the trade on draft day from Green Bay. 2nd-round pick came back the other way. And Jake back to the air. Screens it out to the fullback, Kyle Johnson, and a terrific defense. Terrell Suggs with the play. They call themselves Organized Chaos. Bart Scott introduces us to that.
Now introducing the OCs. In the middle, we got Haloti Ngata. Alongside of him is Kelly Buddy Lee Gregg. And on the end, we got T. Sizzle. Move along to the linebackers, we got Adelius Monk there. And you guys know him as Ray Lewis, but we call him the GOAT. And heading to the secondary is Ed Quick Reed. And on the right corner, we got Chris Keep It Pimpin' McAllister.
A couple of Defensive Player of the Years in the league. Ray Lewis twice and Ed Reed in 2004. A false start flag comes down here before 2nd down.
False start, 84, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Javon Walker.
Michael, I want to make a point. Tony, you mentioned before about the weather and handling the ball.
Yep.
Jake Plummer is wearing gloves. The gloves create a tackiness for the football, and he feels very comfortable. I never wore them. It's up to the individual. Steve McNair is not wearing them. But for Jake to have them on there, the ball feels real good, real tight. They're tacky on the inside, and they allow you to hold the ball very, very easily and give you a real secure feeling when you want to throw it. It works for some guys, it doesn't for others. Jake evidently feels comfortable with it.
And whistle and confusion here.
Team timeout.
As the Broncos have to burn another timeout. Mike Shanahan and company get things in order on the sideline as we step out.
He left the core behind.
There before the second down. Look at Jake's season last year. Remember, he got off to a slow start, but he rallied, was making terrific decisions, and was even in the MVP conversation in December. But again, this season, a poor early start. Very bad-looking throws and decisions against St. Louis. No touchdowns in the game against Kansas City. Better against the Patriots. Here against the Ravens, he throws another pick. Intercepted by Samari Roll on the corner with Javon Walker there. That is the 5th interception that Plummer has thrown in under 100 passes this year.
Plummer, the first thing he said to us the other day was, I'm addicted to adversity. Well, he's got it now, doesn't he, Joe?
He created the situation. Samari Roll did an excellent job. He was up in press coverage on Javon Walker. At the last minute, he just backpedals. He takes off. It's supposed to be a quick post and go. From a quarterback's perspective, when you see the corner back off, you can't throw the football. You just can't do it. You're looking right at the receiver. They've called the play to that receiver. You have to throw it away, scramble around, do whatever else you want with it. But the ball cannot go there.
But he's not a throwaway quarterback. He tries to force things, doesn't he? He tries to do it all himself.
Part of the problem that he has, yes.
Roll's interception, second turnover of the game, 14th turnover for the Baltimore defense. They're plus 10 this year. Tied with Chicago, only St. Louis plus 12, a better turnover margin in the league. This throws nearly a turnover the other way. A penalty marker is in as Al Wilson couldn't hang on to the interception. John Lynch and company are saying there was a deflection which would negate the interception, and I believe that's going to be the call here.
There's no foul on the play for defensive pass interference. The ball is tipped. Then second down.
Negate the penalty, not the pick, obviously.
Plummer is starting off in the worst possible way for these fans who feel the omnipresent shadow of John Elway all the time. You throw an interception like that, he becomes, on some level, they either want Jay Cutler or they want to go back to John Elway. But no matter how many games Plummer has won for them, it's not enough for these fans. He's not Elway, and he may not be Cutler at some point.
Second and 10, Jamal Lewis left side. Kennard Lang showed quick speed off the end there.
The other thing, Tony, is when you have defenses that are this good, turnovers, field position, punting, field goals, they all take on more importance in the game. When you know you're not going to gash some defense, you're probably going to not get a big play. So you really have to watch what you do with the football. The Broncos have not done a very good job. Tatum Bell puts one on the ground. Jake just makes a terrible throw to give the Ravens the ball back.
22 plays, 52 yards. Third down. And McNair, for the second time, runs to get a first down. This one takes him out across the 47-yard line. Al Wilson, the tackle, a gain of 9.
Mike, he cannot like this. He'll do it, but he would have his druthers. He'd rather throw the football. You can't make your living running with the football. Give Denver a lot of credit. Nowhere to go. He looks to his right. He comes back. Those linebackers are so quick, and he doesn't want to take hits either. Al Wilson comes up and gets him on the ground. But another crucial first down. He did it last week against San Diego. Picked up a crucial down on their fourth quarter drive.
You see McNair, known for running in his early days, has become more of a pocket passer. Injuries contributing to that as well over time in Tennessee. Stretching it to the left with Jamal Lewis. He's across midfield. Taken to the sideline by Ian Gold at the 49-yard line.
Injuries contribute to that. I would suggest intellect contributes to that too, because at some point you say to yourself, why am I getting crushed here? Let me stand back there and get rid of the ball.
We talk about the speed of the Denver Broncos. Watch how many guys get to the ball. The play is going to be run up top. The play's going that way, okay? Watch what happens. Look at the speed. Everybody is on that side except one to the numbers. That's what you're dealing with trying to run outside, as well as a lot of mud.
Yeah, Lynch came around the play. Now Wilson coming across as well. Mike Anderson, the former Bronco, is in the game. And the first down to the 40-yard line as he has a nice meeting with Nick Ferguson. But it is a first down for Anderson, who gained 1,000 yards here last year with the Broncos, but the decision not to bring him back via free agency, and he moved to Baltimore. First quarter, hard-hitting, low-scoring, in the cold rain in Denver. In the books, 3-0 Ravens. Season, most points an offense has ever scored in the NFL, and his Super Bowl team, as we know, won with defense, and this is smelling like that kind of team. I know it's early, no, they haven't played a bunch of people, but these guys are getting it done with defense.
The difference is, in Steve McNair, they have a quarterback who they're willing to do a little bit more with than they did with Trent Dilfer. Although Trent did an excellent job getting that ring, they want to spread it out even a little bit more with McNair.
3-0 as we start the second quarter in Denver. Michelle Tafoya, Susie Culver on the soggy sideline. Mike Tirico, Tony Kornheiser, Joe Theismann in the booth. Glad you're with us on Monday Night Football. First down for the Ravens, and McNair completes it for about 7 yards. Wilcox will not go down, and finally 4 people take him down. The gain will be 7.
That pass by McNair illustrates the point I'm about to make, that Brian Billick is the most fortunate human being in the NFL today. He did not lose his job last year, but the owner and the general manager put him on notice at the end of the year that they wanted some changes. They wanted a different direction. They were dissatisfied with the way things were going. And Brian Billick would be the first to admit that the seat he was on was hot. But when Steve McNair dropped into his lap, in his words, a bona fide guy, no questions asked, that helps lead to 4-0, and now he is safe and happy.
Heavy formation, Mason the wide receiver. The run for Anderson, and the former Broncos met by his old teammate, Al Wilson. Loss of a couple.
But, Tony, it's still early in the season. Don't want anything to happen to Steve McNair. Let's say he does go down. A lot of times he's been hurt. They go back to Kyle Bowler. Is Brian right back in the same scenario?
No, I don't. No, he's right now sitting at 4-0. Okay, so he's not sitting at 1-3 or anything like that. He's sitting at 4-0 with a quarterback he likes a lot. If he has to go to Bowler, Bowler was a starter for 3 years, wasn't he? 2 or 3 years. Yeah. But McNair is his guy, and McNair has changed the face of the Baltimore franchise.
He's Baltimore,
given it an offense.
And a penalty marker here. Looks like we'll have 3rd and 9. You can see by Gerald Warren slipping. It continues to be very slick on the field.
Full start, 60, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
You talked about Kyle Bowler being the latest of the guys that Brian Billick has had as starting quarterbacks during his tenure as Ravens head coach.
Look at all these. Some of them hand-picked. Scott Mitchell hand-picked. Elvis Gerback hand-picked. Kyle Bowler obviously hand-picked. The most successful quarterback he has had is Trent Dilfer. Won a Super Bowl and then left the team. Brian Billick with the reputation well-earned as a quarterback genius, as you said before, Mike, but hasn't had luck at that position with this team. The luck he's had is defense.
And some great defensive coordinators, including Marvin Lewis.
Mike Nolan.
Now the head coach in San Francisco. Pressure on, high throw, incomplete. Good pressure by Denver, forced it to come out quicker than he wanted, and throwing a Champ Bailey with Demetrius Williams, the intended receiver.
Denver proving that they can play defense also. Another good stop. This one does not allow Baltimore to get into range where they could even attempt a field goal. Sooner or later, Denver's offense is going to have to stop messing up things and give this defense a little bit of a break, too.
Sam Cook kicks. His poor return unit made a poor decision. Darren Williams caught one inside the 5 last week. He didn't leave the 10-yard line there, and Cook is able to help it inside the 3 and down at the 2-yard line. So 98 for Plummer and the Denver offense to go. They miles to the north. A lot of these folks make the trip on Bronco home games. 550 miles just to come to a game. Pretty sweet. Gives you an idea of the regional pull that the Broncos have had since their AFL existence.
Go play action and take a shot.
6 plays, 9 yards for Plummer out of the gate. It's a straight drop back and incomplete. Ron Smith was over there. Bart Scott was just hanging with him. So how good was that Baltimore defense in the first quarter? You think just those 9 yards gained. They also come up with a couple of turnovers and allow 1 first down. The 9 yards allowed in the first quarter equals the low for a Mike Shanahan Broncos team in the first quarter.
Take a look at these other rushing stats. Tampa, they gave up 26 yards. Oakland, they gave up 39. Cleveland, they gave up 38. Not going to get a lot of yards on this defense.
The hand straight ahead to the fullback, Kyle Johnson, and he's only going to get to the 4-yard line. Ray Lewis, first one up off the ball carrier.
The offensive line of the Denver Broncos is small. They're the smallest in the league. They're built for speed and lateral movement. Now they're up against a defense that can match them in speed and is even bigger. That's why it's going to be so tough to get the zone blocking schemes done.
Shanahan looked like he was searching for a play just then in the rain.
David Kirkus, third receiver in the game, top of your screen. Ravens showing a lot of different stuff. They'll run to that left side where Kirkus was lined up and get the first down with Tatum Bell across the 20 and to the 24-yard line. Ed Reed the tackle.
Denver needed this bad. They needed some kind of an offensive lift so that they can get into their normal progression. Good blocking outside. You can get the Ravens to run around and create opportunities for the offense where you almost don't have to block anybody. They run themselves out of position. It's the way the gambling defenses go.
2 100-yard games helping Bell's numbers. Had 123 against New England on a career-high 27 carries. He's trying to prove he can be that every down back. And the third-year player, Bell, gets another first down. And a gain of a dozen out to the 34-yard line. One thing Tatum Bell labeled himself as when he was spelling Mike Anderson last year, home run hitter. If you take a minimum of 300 carries over the last 2+ seasons, Tatum Bell's yards per carry at 5.3 is the best in the NFL. Again, the sample is smaller than Larry Johnson, Tiki Barber, or Sean Alexander, but that tells you the label that Bell was carrying. Change of pace, big play runner.
Now he gets to be a change of pace lots of time.
And can he do it? That's what Mike Shanahan wanted to find out as he didn't give him the job right out of camp. He goes to the 39. Michelle, that was one of the issues coming in with Tatum Bell.
No question. And that fumble, too, was an issue early in this game on Denver's opening drive. Right after Tatum Bell fumbled the football, he ran up and down the bench, the offensive bench, and pointed to his chest just saying, my bad, to every single guy on the offense. He really wanted to take responsibility for that mistake. But right after that, Jake Plummer went to him, patted him hard on the shoulder pads and said, keep your head in this game.
He just carried 3 times to 34 yards, comes to the bench for a blow. Mike Bell, the rookie, is in, and that pass is nearly intercepted, and Terrell Suggs was almost going the other way with a pick 6.
Like T Sizzle, who is Terrell. I love
as you like to call him, Joey's T.
My good friend.
Yeah.
I mean, he just gets everywhere. We've seen him force the fumble, gets his hands up. The versatility that he has, he's listed as a defensive end, but he has such great athletic ability to get out into coverage. He's 260 and can drop and run like anybody.
I know I speak for all Americans. We would love to see you with a T-Sizzle necklace at the next game. A big gold T-Sizzle necklace for you.
Diamonds, Tony. Not gold, diamonds.
Brandon Marshall comes in to make it 4 receivers here on third down. And Plummer throwing for David Kirkus. McAllister knocks it down and incomplete. Kirkus, who, after he didn't make the Lions last year, was working in a Subway shop in Howell, Michigan, making sandwiches 25 hours a week to make money so he could work on his football. He's done a good job, become the 3rd receiver, but working against McAllister, one of the best in the league here.
So he was a Subway artist, because they're sandwich artists, right, if I get that correctly.
He's Subway guy.
That's fabulous.
This guy's been an artist on defense. Big 7-year, $55 million deal. McAllister trying to pick up the picks. He only had 1 last year with a key fumble recovery in the first half. Paul Ernster is the punter. He's part of a story. He might not be with his team tomorrow. Todd Sarabrun is under suspension. It ends tomorrow. Ernster might be kicking for his job. Had a nice kick there that was returned by B.J. Sams to the 21. Baltimore taking over from its own 21. And Steve McNair, just a little jump pass to Musa Smith, who gets out to the 25-yard line. James Denton plays Mike Delfino on Desperate Housewives and joins us here in the booth. And those of you who watch Desperate Housewives, you may know that this man was in a coma up until last night and came out of it on the show, so we're glad that you've at least made it.
Just in time to be here.
Is that a good career move to be in a coma on a hot series?
It's playing it very safe. You can't do anything stupid, and you can't really look bad. So it's they found a way to utilize my talent.
That's good to know. After this play, we have more coma questions.
Oh, I'm sure you do, Tony.
2nd and 6. And Musa Smith goes right side. John Lynch with a big hit on him, but Smith keeps it going to make it 3rd and a yard.
We will stay with the topic. I've often wondered about this. When your character's in a coma, does your facial hair still grow? I notice you have a little right now. How does that work out when you're in that coma?
You know, the facial hair thing has been a big deal for the character, but they had Terry Hatcher shaving me while I was in the coma, so that was a pretty good gig. But it's hard to stay still for that, if you know what I mean. She did a great job. She hacked me up a little bit, but that was part of the bit.
I have to ask this. I'm under the impression that people watch this show for the hot women. Who exactly is watching for you? Have I missed something?
I'm hurt. I'm crushed. I thought it was you. But we don't fool anybody. It's called Desperate Housewives for a reason.
Brian Billick and the Ravens are going to take a timeout here before the 3rd one. Brian hot at the officials for not getting his attention. James, going to come back with us when we come back. And missing out on the play.
It means the defenses were good last year, too.
Exactly.
Nothing's changed.
That's what I was thinking. We've seen this movie already. Out of the Ravens called timeout, 3rd and a yard. And they go play action, and Todd Heap got behind the linebacker Wilson, but couldn't hang on.
Steve McNair had a tremendous opportunity. Terrific call by Jim Fossil, their offensive coordinator. If he can get the ball out a little bit quicker, he doesn't allow Al Wilson to catch up. Good play action. Heap releases. Now, get it up. He's clean. Underthrows him. Al Wilson does a terrific job of just getting in the way enough to push him away from the ball. Steve knows he had an opportunity to get away from him.
And Sam Cook will punt it. Darren Williams fields the 45-yard punt. Gets a good block. The gunner was taken out to his left. He brings it to the right. Picks up more blocks. And Williams hit by the punter Cook and then brought down at the 42-yard line. Man, did they need a big return. Haven't had one all year. And finally get it from Darren Williams. 33 on the takeback.
What Darren Williams shows every punt returner is you don't have to do it with speed. Come out, set up, let the block set up, take your time. Now use your speed to accelerate and get to the wall. An excellent job of setting up the return by the return man. Jake loves it. Give me a shot.
So in a game where field position is essential, Darren Williams gives it to the Broncos as they start in Baltimore territory for the first time.
You go over well.
Are you going? Are you going someplace else? Maybe.
Could be. Very well could be.
2nd down after the 3-yard run by Bell. Right back to Tatum. Gallops through across the 30 for a first down to the 27-yard line.
What you want to do when you have a defense that reacts to every movement is you want to create counter moves. This time you'll see the handoff and then the fake reverse. What it'll do on the left side, it just freezes the defense long enough to allow Ray Lewis to have to overrun. The hesitation just gets him out of position, and he can't get back to make the play.
Tatum Bell getting a decent night going against the Ravens. One big run that got him out of the shadow of the goalpost before. Now, a half dozen carries for 51 yards. He goes right back to the right, just a yard there. We're going to see James Denton on ESPN as the voice of new series Primal Quest. Tell us what it's all about.
Well, it's the world's toughest race is what they call it. These 90 teams of 4 people, 1 woman and 3 men, go 450 miles across the desert. They run, they kayak, they bike. It's climbing.
They
and
kayak
it's really,
across the desert?
They burn 15,000 calories a day.
Wow.
They kayak when they get to the river.
Oh, okay.
The kayaking across the desert is the really brutal part because it's real slow going, and they burn a lot of calories. But
maybe we can send Tony on that show for a few weeks.
Better than flying, right, Tony?
Much better.
To Tatum Bell, left side. Cannot get away from that Ravens defense. James, thanks for coming up. Great having you with us.
Absolutely. And Tony, my feelings aren't hurt. I realize you're long asleep when we're on the air.
Most of the time I'm asleep. Look, good luck getting out of the coma. Good luck with one of the other housewives if it works out for you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, James Denton
doing a great job. Congratulations.
Tony's fantasy.
James Denton joining us here in Denver after the bell run. We have 3rd and 7 coming up. And from here, the Broncos are in 43-yard field goal range with Jason Elam. And Joe, you've got to pay attention to that every opportunity to score in this game. It's setting up that way.
Well, the Broncos, they got the big lift from the return. Their running game is back. That's who they are. It's their identity. Now Jake has to be careful that he doesn't create a situation where you lose yards.
No throws to Rod Smith yet. Goes to the other side toward Kirkus, who was covered by McAllister. And it's 4th down.
Jake Plummer has been off. He tried to throw a hitch coming out from the goal line. Rod Smith went one way. The ball went the other. This time Kirkus runs a slant. It's way behind him. Watched him in practice on Saturday. Jake did not look this bad throwing the football.
But it wasn't raining on Saturday.
But
that has no effect at all? It has to have some.
It doesn't look like it. The grip looks good. It's just the position of the ball has been in bad places.
No kicker has handled more points for his team in NFL history than Jason Elam from 43 to square the game at 3. So on a difficult weather night for handling the ball, Elam squares it at 3. Pretty Eastern, of course, Monday Night Countdown before that at 7 Eastern. But Brian Urlacher and that Monsters of the Midway circa 06 added with the Big Bears offense. Most points per game in the NFL. Fewest points allowed per game in the NFL. The last team to be 5-0 and lead in points scored per game, points allowed per game. The 1964 Buffalo Bills, 42 years ago.
The 72 Dolphins better start to get scared. Nick Bonicani, I'm putting you on alert.
Really, Joe?
Yep.
Really? E.J. Sams fields the hop, tries the return. He's stopped at the 25-yard line. Dominique Foxworth made that first play. Of course, that's the only team to go all the way through undefeated. Chicago's going to be favored to go at least 8-0. Then they have to go to the Giants, Jets, and Patriots in 3 weeks.
And they had no offense last year at all, and Joe's got them in the Super Bowl going undefeated.
All right, here's Tony's email. Number 1, who's more at fault if the Ravens lose tonight, T.O. or A-Rod?
I love that email. I think that's so funny. Terrell Owens is justifiably blamed for almost everything that happens in the world. Alex Rodriguez is taking more, in my mind, than his fair share. I know he had a terrible playoff series, but to think you'd be better off getting rid of him strikes me as nuts.
First down, McNair from the 25. Complete to a guy who's thrown to a lot in his career, Derek Mason. They were together in Tennessee. First down gain of 13 yards.
Derek Mason, when everybody went home in June and July to go on vacation after camps were over, before you came to training camp, and Steve McNair signed with the Baltimore Ravens, he stayed around to get caught up with them, to be able to spend some time catching footballs from them again. Probably the happiest guy on the Ravens besides Brian Billick.
Brian Billick was the happiest.
Was Derek Mason.
You bet.
Those two guys were together with the Titans 97 through 2004. Pressure on McNair. Lynch's blitz was picked up, but no time to set and throw to Jamal Lewis. The pass incomplete.
They got Lynch, but they didn't get Ian Gold, the outside linebacker. That's the way Denver has to attack this offense. Just put so much pressure on Steve. He's going to run. He's going to run up inside. He's not going to beat you on the outside. So you can bring people. Put one up the middle in his face and let the outside guys go after him.
I love the contrast in defenses. There's a fierceness of Baltimore and a fleetness to Denver, especially those 3 linebackers. They just run all over. And there's John Lynch with a hit on Jamal Lewis. And we mentioned he is wired for sound on Monday night. Here's some of the things he's been talking about already.
Hey, we got to match them in the turnover game. They got 1, we got none. Let's get after this. We either got to get 2. We got to get a turnover or get the ball back right here. Good field position. Let's go. Dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3.
It's at Stanford education.
John,
2, not 1.
No matter what you say in the huddle, somebody's going to correct you.
7-time Pro Bowl who's continuing the great safety tradition here. Steve Atwater, Dennis Smith. It's the back end of his career, but he can still bring it. Third down. They back out and rush 4. McNair dumps it out. Chance for the first down by Musa Smith. What a job as McNair absorbed the hit, and it is right at the line for a first down.
Part of the reason we haven't seen the production out of Jamal Lewis this year is because of Musa Smith. He was hurt all last year. He's got some speed back, gives him some versatility catching the ball. McNair is the kind of a guy who can take hits, but running, getting hit, standing in the pocket, getting hit, wears on you.
Yeah, but one of the weaknesses that's said of Baltimore is that the offensive line permits him to be hit too often. Not necessarily sacked, hit too often.
And it happens to guys in the pocket. If you're a pocket quarterback, you're going to get hit a lot.
Demetri Veal made that hit. It is still a first down, and here goes Lewis sliding forward to the 45, a gain of 7 as we get toward the 2-minute warning here.
You think one touchdown will win this?
Could be none.
7 points. Yes, a 7-point lead.
That's
will be
it.
Very, very difficult to overcome in this game.
Turn out the lights at a 7-point lead.
Don't turn it out because you have the turnover factor. But 7 points will be difficult.
It's the one thing that I hold in mind. It's a slick field. One guy on an island could fall and allow a big play to happen. Smith, full reaction to all the big plays and big moments from yesterday. Jacked up as well. The number 1 jacked up hit coming up on the Lexus halftime show.
We got ourselves a jacked up in this one. Mike Anderson got jacked up by Nick Ferguson.
Ravens have 2 timeouts remaining. Have it at 2nd and 2 from the 45. And McNair's pass is complete. They're going to mark forward progress. That should be enough for the first down as Champ Bailey tackled Mark Clayton.
Mark Clayton showed you a terrific set of hands. Everybody talks about him. He's very good after he catches the football. Watch him go up and snatch this. Now, it's wet. He doesn't use his body. He goes up, uses his hands, and Champ plants his face right in the turf.
He was slow getting up. That's him on the sidelines, is it not?
Mm-hmm. It is. But again, forward progress gave him the first down at the 40. And McNair, play action. Look out. It was a long throw to Heap and almost went the other way with Garrett Williams, who had the nice punt return to set up the field goal a moment ago.
Steve McNair does not have the strongest arm. Now, you played 12 years, you take the beating that he has, making that kind of throw. It's like from deep in the hole as a shortstop. You've got a long way to get it out there. Heap actually had to get to him, but Durant Williams just managed to make the vision difficult.
Clayton's still over there. They're cleaning off his helmet. Heap only has 1 catch for 9 yards. The only Ravens to catch touchdowns this year are the tight ends. Heap and Dan Wilcox, 83. The second down run takes Jamal Lewis to about the 36-yard line, and time continues to tumble, and we'll be near a minute here.
Jamal Lewis is the kind of a back who becomes better when you can control the game and give the ball to him beyond 15 times. As you get into the second half of a game, you want to bleed the clock down. He's the guy you have to have in the game.
This is Baltimore's timeout with 1:07 to go, and here's Michelle Tafoya.
A minute ago, you heard John Lynch, Wired for Sound, talking about how they have to match the Ravens in turnovers. Just how much is that stressed? I'm holding in my hand this chart, and this is something that Mike Shanahan keeps with him all the time. It's a list of the teams in the NFL ranked by turnover differential from last season. And you can see that in the top 11, most of them, 10 of the top 11, made the playoffs. He stresses this to his team all the time, and he started on the first day of training camp, telling them that turnover differential, points scored, and points allowed would be the 3 keys. But this chart, the turnover differential, is what Mike Shanahan hangs on to and looks at all season long, guys.
And one of those 2 early turnovers turned into the Ravens field goal.
Then Michelle, you got to figure that Mike feels mighty darn lucky to be in a tie ball game, giving the ball up twice so far in the first half.
Not all of his players knew that they'd given it up twice.
This could be this could be 4-down territory for the Ravens.
They took the timeout. 37-yard line, needing to get to the 30 for the first down. The throw is held on to. What a grab by Mason for the first down, and a throw perfectly tossed by McNair.
Terrific read also. The Broncos want to roll the corner up. Champ Bailey stays up looking in the backfield, hesitates a second. Then you see Mason go down the sideline. Ferguson doesn't get there quick enough. Went to the wide side, make the safety run a long distance. Nice throw by Steve.
I was going to ask you about that because the last throw to the other side of the field, your first comment was Steve McNair no longer has the strongest arm in the league. But on that particular throw, it got there a lot quicker, looked better.
The reason why is the one he threw before, he threw to the left side, which is you have to come across your body, and the ball tends to be pulled down.
It's a 26-yard game, but Walt Coleman's coming over to check it out. As you know, in the last 2 minutes, replay is controlled upstairs, so just making sure that both feet came down with possession, and he's able to hold on to the ball on the way around. We'll be right back.
This is huge. This is huge for Denver defensively.
You know, guys, there hasn't been a touchdown scored in this stadium this year. The first game was 9-6 for Clayton, incomplete. The Kansas City overtime game was 9-6 in here. This is 3-3. So we've had 6+ quarters at Invesco Field at Mile High without a touchdown.
I don't want to anticipate something, but if Baltimore were to get a touchdown here and go up by that magical 7-point margin, how comfortable would you be in at least thinking that this game was over?
A whole half to play. Wouldn't even consider it. Wouldn't even cross my mind. It's not easy, but it wouldn't even cross my mind. The reason I say that is Denver was able to mount a pretty good drive the last time they had the ball.
You can get a first down at the 1. Running Jamal Lewis. Bouncing off linebackers. DJ Williams.
Wow.
Al Wilson. Third down.
Wow, they get there. I mean, they wherever the ball is, they're like heat-seeking missiles. They're gone in a heartbeat. These linebackers fly. They play off inside. All three of the linebackers are in on this play. Ian Gold, Al Wilson, DJ Williams, they're all there. There's Wilson coming in to plant the shoulder. The Ravens should be able to try and create an opportunity for Todd Heap.
They just took a timeout, by the way. That's the guy you want to look for down here.
That's the guy that's been productive. And Mike, you made the point. All 5 touchdowns are from the tight ends.
Yep. Tight ends. Well, for those of you just tuning in, this 3-3 game, very defensive battle, as was expected between these teams. Here's what the Ravens have allowed. 9 yards in the first quarter, 63 total, 2 forced turnovers. First one led to their only points, a field goal. Meantime, the Denver defense has seen Baltimore run more plays, about 2-to-1 ratio of plays. They've gotten more yards, but those linebackers and their speed, John Lynch at the safety, Champ Bailey on the corner, they've done their job. And this is a decent drive for the Ravens. The only field goal that Denver got came after a Darren Williams punt return of 33 yards.
All right, quarterback, what do you call here? Third down.
Try and get Todd Heap, the tight end, isolated on the linebacker. Against most teams in the NFL, pretty good bet Heap can get open. The problem with these guys, like I said, Ian Gold, Al Wilson, DJ Williams, they all cover like defensive backs. Find number 86. He's the third one in on the left.
Closest to you, 3rd and 9. McNair throwing the other way. Jump ball, picked off. Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey wears the tag of best cover corner in the league, and Steve McNair said, I don't go away from anybody. And here McNair goes at Bailey. Bailey wins.
But you got a third-year guy, Clarence Moore, who really lost the starting job a year ago. They used this play to try and take advantage of his height. What they forget is Champ can sky. Larry Coyer, the defensive coordinator, said this about Champ Bailey. He plays to intercept the ball. He does not play the man. There you saw a classic case of it.
That's the signature of this Denver Broncos team, Champ Bailey making that play. Their offense is not going to get a lot of points. Their defense makes the most important play so far in the game.
Ask Tom Brady of the New England Patriots about Champ Bailey.
With 30 seconds left, they're going to run a play, not just take a knee. goes. There's a turnover here. Tatum Bell with a 4-yard gain. Michelle mentioned right at the start that interception chart that Mike Shanahan has, the turnover chart, always tracking it all season. When the series started, you heard John Lynch wired, said, guys, we've got to get turnovers back, and they come up with their first pick of the season at a very opportune time. I think, guys, forget the play by Champ, which is wonderful. Not a great play. You can't make a turnover if you're a veteran quarterback down there at the 10-yard line. Lexus Halftime Show with Chris Berman, Steve Young, Michael Irvin, Tom Jackson, Stuart Scott. The boys have the fastest 3 minutes. The wrap-up to Jacked Up and Joe Torre's future. Right now, Denver gets the ball first. It's 3-3 at the half, and here's Chris Berman. Over still showing a good leg. Morgan returning from the 5. Very nice job by Morgan to get out to the 27-yard line. Tackle made by Jared Johnson of the Ravens. Want to call your attention to the 6 passing yards by the Denver Broncos. That is the fewest in a Mike Shanahan coached Denver Bronco team in a half. First half.
Mike, it's Jake Plummer. Jake Plummer just didn't look good throwing the football. He was behind the receivers. He has to do a better job. They're not going to let him get outside. They're not going to let him get his bootlegs in. He's going to have to throw from the pocket a lot better.
This is what everybody in Denver fears, is that Jake Plummer can't help you win an important game or any game, even though he's got a great record. They don't like him here.
First catch to Rod Smith. First down, 10 yards. Michelle Tafoya on the sideline.
Well, Mike Shanahan certainly got to be happy with that play right there. I talked to him at halftime, asked him about Jake Plummer's first half performance, and he said, I can't put my finger on it, but we must do better in the second half. We've got to move the football. He acknowledged they're running the ball better, and his defense is playing hard. But he said we've got to complete passes. We can't get stuck in 2nd and 10s and throw the passes we've been throwing, guys.
You see Michelle, just 16 pass yards in that first half for Jake Plummer and the 1 pick. Making it 5 in the year. Tatum Bell to carry. He had a decent first half. Takes it to the 42-yard line. Joe, we always hear the term zone blocking with the Broncos.
And the Broncos are the ones with Alex Gibb that really made the term famous. If you look at from the back, watch the steps of the offensive line. They all step to the left like a quartet. Get a cutoff on the backside. Good patience. 1 step and cut. That's the way the offense is set up. You move to the front side, cut off the backside. The runner makes 1 step visually and goes.
I like that they all step together. The Temptations used to do that, and it worked out very well for their career.
Both ways.
Plummer throws for the tight end. Incomplete for the rookie Tony Scheffler out of Western Michigan. You saw that 1 step and go, and that's the in vogue term that the Broncos have looking for running backs, a 1-cut guy, and Atlanta as well, because they picked up the zone blocking scheme.
And Green Bay.
Remember, they're doing it now too.
You know, Jags down there, the offensive coordinator. He has spent time out. Matter of fact, talked to Alex Gibbs once a week about the scheme. It's a good one, but you need small offensive line. Small, 300 pounds. What's small?
Yeah, relative speaking, Broncos have the lightest offensive line in the National Football League at just an under 300-pound average per man. This is 3rd down. And the run with Bell will not get there. Tatum a yard shy, and the Ravens will get them off the field and bring up 4th down. So the Ravens embarking here on the second half, and they've only given up a field goal. You go back since 1940, and only 1 team better, the 1980 Lions, quarterbacked by Gary Danielson, the 61 Packers, who went on to a championship, and the 91 49ers.
You and those Lions, Mike, you are a true fan.
Actually, it's me and Gary Danielson.
Yes,
Gary's a buddy, yeah.
Both of you. I figured as much.
One of the truth.
Way to get him into the show. I'm sure he's happy.
Anything to get Gary, and Eric Hipple was his backup, too.
Almost got traded for Eric Hipple.
You did?
Yep.
Oh. Maybe he'd be with us tonight. So Ernster with his second kick. B.J. Sams, fair catch made at the 15. So Ernster's had good hang time on his kicks. And again, he's fighting for his job because the suspension for Todd Sauerbrunn ends as soon as SportsCenter starts. After a turnover in the red zone, negated the opportunity to score a field goal at the end of the half. Musa Smith starts as the lone back behind Steve McNair. McNair hit as he throws behind Todd Heap. Incomplete. Ian Gold brought the heat, brought McNair down, and here's Susie Colvin.
Mike, Brian Billick insists any issues that the Ravens are having on offense has nothing to do with the weather. It has everything to do with how well the Broncos defense is playing, and Billick expected that. He was really satisfied with the run-pass mix of his offense, and feels McNair is doing pretty well, except they've got to be able to get the ball downfield. They've got to be able to capitalize in the red zone. That interception certainly doesn't help.
First McNair red zone interception in a year in 81 passes in the red zone. Musa Smith out of the backfield gets to the 21-yard line. One thing Brian Billick has, Joe and Tony, he's got 5 running backs that he feels he can, or 3 running backs, excuse me, he feels he can use during the year with that rotation of Mike Anderson, Musa Smith, and Jamal Lewis.
And with the injuries that we've seen, you've seen Jamal struggled last year with it. You have to have somebody that you can roll in. He feels like as the year goes on, if they need to plug one in, they can do the same thing.
No huddle third down keeps the Broncos third down personnel. Quicker pass rushing defensive lineman on the bench, and McNair just able to dump it out to Musa Smith, cleaned up by Al Wilson. Fourth down.
You can have all the running backs you want. You can have all the wide receivers you want. In a game like this, nobody's gaining any yards.
No,
the defenses completely dominate the game. They're in the backfield the moment the ball is snapped. I mean, this is going to be a one big play circumstance.
And the weather has nothing to do with it. And also, that's why that interception at the end of the half by Champ Bailey was huge. Huge, because points are at a premium.
Darren Williams back for the Cook punt. Good one. 51 yards at elevation. The flag is down. Williams, who had a 33-yard return earlier, is taken out just shy of the 40. And we'll check the laundry. And we have a player shaken up on the sidelines, one of the Ravens. Over on the Denver sideline. And as always, the classy protocol of teams, the medical staff from the Broncos there to just keep the player down and look at him for a couple of seconds as the Ravens medical personnel comes over. It looks to be Corey Ivy as the player is
during the return. Holding 22 of the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So as they look at the injured player and mark off the penalty, we'll step out for a second.
Log on. It's all on NFL.com. And Lexus and the new 303 horsepower GS350.
It's the oldest restaurant in Denver. Over 100 years, people have been eating at the Buckhead Exchange. On the menu, elk, rattlesnake, and llama, among other things. Llama, yeah.
I thought llama was protected.
Little llama.
Not
rattlesnake.
Not at the Buckhead Exchange. It is not protected.
Tough place to go if you're a llama.
The injured player, Corey Ivy, was helped off the field, did walk with assistance. And on first down, Plummer, nice job of hiding the ball, throwing the deep ball for Rod Smith. Went up and tried to win the jump ball with McAllister. Did not, incomplete.
Jake Plummer could not get this ball up in time. Rod Smith had him beat, had McAllister to the post. You see the space. All he needs to do is get it out in front. Not easy to throw it. Rod has to come back and try and make a play on the ball and can't get to it. But Jake just had to take 2 steps to try and get it out there.
Jake Plummer is having the kind of game tonight that makes people in Denver wonder if Jay Cutler should be playing instead of Jake Plummer.
And it's a foolish thought. Foolish.
Thousands have it.
2nd and 10. Here is Plummer, the 10th-year veteran, throws for Scheffler, the tight end. The rookie caught it a couple of yards shy of the first down. Cutler was the first-round pick, 11th overall out of Vanderbilt.
And he had a very good preseason, and you know that the coach here traded up to get him. He had a guy who had a career season last year, right?
Yep.
In Jake Plummer, and yet traded up to get Jay Cutler. Now, I'm not saying he's going to play this year because he's not going to play this year, but people want to see him, and Jake Plummer contributes to this circumstance by having games like this.
Every quarterback has a game.
He has tough. Well, he started out the season early, too.
3rd and 3. The pressure comes. Plummer rolls and throws incomplete. And we'll have 4th down coming up. Good pressure.
let me just say this, that Plummer was somewhat surprised to learn that the Broncos had gone out and drafted a quarterback. At first, his dad told him it was Matt Leinart. Then his brother told him it was Jay Cutler. And he said, I was a little surprised. I thought we'd go after a defensive lineman. We'd just gone to the AFC Championship game. I had the best year of my career, so I wondered why. But I'm going into my 10th year, and I guess they had to plan for the future.
But it's not about...
The future could be very quick. Could be next year. Could it not?
I don't think so. Could be, but he's on the roster. But if you can get a quality quarterback, you look at the draft and you say, if I can get one now, make the deal. That's what they did.
Ernster with the kick. Very good kick toward the sideline and ideal. Out of bounds, unreturnable by B.J. Sams at the 12-yard line. Ernster's making a case to keep the job. 50-yard kick. Conversation. There's been a lot of those scenes for Bronco fans on the sideline this year. Than a drizzle, but not much more than that. It means it's wet, it's cold, temperature started under 40. We may have snow by the end of the night here in Denver. Surrounding areas have seen some snow already in the foothills. And the weather matches the game. 3-3. Third quarter. Jamal Lewis, just a couple of yards. Sports Center, 30-30. Matt Weiner.
Mike George Steinbrenner met with his Yankee Brain Trust today to discuss the future of manager Joe Torre. No decision, but a possible Torre replacement. Joe Girardi interviewed with the Cubs. And from the NFL, Cards receiver Larry Fitzgerald expected to miss 2 to 5 weeks with a pulled right hamstring. Sports Center right after Monday Night Football. ESPN News, always on.
Thank you, Matt. More responsibility for Anquan Bolden to catch Matt Leinart's passes when we see them against the undefeated Bears next week on Monday Night Football. 2nd and 8, Derek Mason, top of your screen. McNair stepping up into the pressure, going down, the ball came out. Gerald Warren had a chance at it. The official says Baltimore recovered. And a turnover in the red zone could have been huge. It's 3rd down for the Ravens.
Steve McNair will wait out routes and do everything he can to make a play in the pocket. The ball gets slippery, gets knocked away. The Ravens are very, very, very lucky that they wound up with the ball.
It was Michael Myers' pressure that forced it out, and you saw his former fellow Cleveland Brown teammate now here in Denver. Gerald Warren had the chance to fall on it and couldn't get to it. Gerard Warren, I beg your pardon. 3rd and 10. And McNair kills it because a whistle had blown to stop the play.
First team timeout. Baltimore. The timeout was called prior to the delay of game.
We've talked all night, all day, all week about the Denver Broncos' speed of their defense. There you see the 3 guys lined up outside. Williams takes the outside. Look at how many people get to Jamal Lewis. 8 defensive Broncos on a run that's only 3 yards. Jamal now starts out to the outside. All of a sudden, look at everybody. Again, 7 of them surrounding the ball. That's why when a ball comes out like it did with McNair, you're surprised that it winds up back in the offense's hand.
What's different about this defense this year compared to last year?
Familiarity. Larry Coyer was it was a new system for him. You had younger guys. John Lynch, another year in the system. Nick Ferguson, another year. Comfort and familiarity. Remember, last year they added all the defensive linemen, which was their problem a year ago. Got all those guys from Cleveland, basically. Now they're more comfortable with the system and one another.
Yeah, Lang, Myers, Warren, Ekubon, Courtney Brown not in.
Kennard Lang.
Mark Clayton in motion. 3-man rush. Clayton catches and goes down very quickly.
All you need to do is watch what Mark Clayton did on that reception, and it tells you the swarming awareness that a receiver has. He catches this ball, one guy comes at him, makes him spin around, and he protects himself from the horde that's coming at them.
How much different is that than the Baltimore defense? We see the same thing with Baltimore.
Exactly.
They go to the ball in the same way. You're watching the same defense on both teams.
Sam Cook to kick. "54 yards. Darren Williams pushed back to the 32. Flag down as Williams is taken out of the sideline at the 48-yard line. So what would have been very good field position likely will be negated by this flag.
I've resisted all game saying "You Send Me" by Sam Cook. I can no longer resist. I know I should have. I can no longer.
Just don't sing it. He spelled differently. He spelled K-O-C-H, pronounced Cook.
I didn't know that.
This guy.
We're in the return. Holding 40 of the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's on Jerome Cox. Tony, we have a lot of rosters up here.
I should probably
check the
look at
spelling of the kickers.
them. Should I not?
Yeah. Jake Plummer has flat out struggled tonight. Can he find it on this drive and get the Broncos the lead? 1998 for the Buffs in Boulder. Talking with the offense on the sideline as Ray Lewis and the defense bring it back out to the 24. No place to go in this 3-3 game. Here's Michelle Tafoya.
Well, I'm with a familiar face here in Denver, the Nuggets star forward Carmelo Anthony. He was born and raised in Baltimore, though. I'm not sure who you're cheering for here today. Who is it?
You know, I got to go for the Ravens right now, you know, but I'm here in Denver. I support the Broncos also. They support us, so, you know, let's kind of go hand to hand out here now.
I think you just broke a bunch of Denver Nuggets fans' hearts if you're not going to cheer for the Broncos.
I've been cheering for both teams, though. When the Baltimore Ravens do something good, I cheer. When the Broncos do something good, I cheer.
All right, more with you in just 1 second.
Yeah, it's all even. It's 3-3. Here's Plummer setting up the screen. Haven't seen many flat-out screens. Bell 2 yards shy of the first down, tackled by Franklin. Back to Michelle.
Well, you were raised in Baltimore, as I mentioned, and there was a youth center there that was really important in your growing up. You spent a lot of time there. It was a safe haven for kids, and then it got closed down. So what are you doing in response?
You know, I'm about to open up the Carmelo Anthony Youth Center back in Baltimore. You know, like you said, when I was growing up, I had a rec center. I was in there every day. They closed it down. And unfortunately, I'm in a position right now where I can make a lot of decisions, do some things for the kids, you know, around my neighborhood. And I think it's going to be a great idea.
One more question after the play.
Okay, Michelle, it's 3rd and short. And Jake's going to throw for it and get the first down with Javon Walker across the 40 or to the 40-yard line. So they'll keep the drive alive, Michelle.
All right, last thing for you. You start your preseason tomorrow. What's going on?
We play a team from Turkey tomorrow. I don't know nothing about it. We just going to go out there, you know, get ready. We was in Durango in the mountains. It was 7,000, you know, feet above sea level. So I think we're in shape. I hope we're in shape, and we're just getting ready.
Good luck, Carmelo. Thanks.
Appreciate that.
He's rooting for Baltimore, Mike.
Yeah, from Baltimore. I know those folks are happy about Carmelo. Led Syracuse to the national championship and had a couple of good seasons with our buddy George Karl. And we'll see the Nuggets a bunch on ESPN when the NBA season starts beginning of next month. Running right into the arms of Justin Bannon is Bell, gain of 2.
Love the fact that he said we're playing a team from Turkey, don't know much about him.
Well, he should have said we're playing a bunch of turkeys. but that's another. So I know I was looking at the score 3-3. I mean, that could be 2 possessions in the NBA. And here we are deep in the 3rd quarter. But this is a good football game.
Could be the ACLS too.
After the gain of 2, 2nd and 8. And Plummer's throw is caught by Rod Smith, tackled by McAllister, a yard shy of the first down.
Jake Plummer is throwing the ball with a lot more decisiveness on this series. He's getting it out of his hands. He's planting his foot. He took 2 steps when he tried to get it down the field to Rod Smith. Now he's stepping up better. Does he make the catch? Does the ball hit the ground? Doesn't look like it. Looks like he caught the football.
Looks like it was a pretty good catch. It was tangled by McAllister's knee as he tried to grab it.
Back to your point earlier we were talking about in the first half. It's not easy to throw in these conditions. You can do it. You're not going to throw it like you do on a dry, sunny day.
Cecil Sapp has checked into the game for the Broncos. Jake rolling and throwing to Walker. First down for Javon. rolls left and throws with great comfort.
See how easy it is to get the fans back? You complete 2 or 3 in a row, and then we don't have to talk about Jay Cutler as the next great quarterback. But this is how, you know this as a quarterback. In a tight game like this, the fans begin to get the scent of a couple of plays and getting into the end zone, and they think one touchdown is going to win it. If Plummer leads him down here, he's a hero. If he gets an interception, he's a bum. That's the life of a quarterback, is it not?
Yep. Little pump as he rolled out and slides down. Essentially, there's no gain on the play as it was touched down by Adelius Thomas. Well, Chris McAllister, the great cover corner on the other side with so much attention on Champ Bailey. There's another pretty darn good one on the field tonight, Joe.
You see him go up and make the play. Champ Bailey and Chris McAllister, very physical, 6'1", guys that can jump. Great football awareness. They know where they are on the field. They see the quarterback. They turn their hips well. They can accelerate to the ball. They play the ball well in the air. We've seen that happen with each of them this evening.
Second and 10, toss to Tatum Bell. Cecil Sapp was out there to block, couldn't get the block, and Ed Reed and company closed the deal. Loss of a couple of yards. 3rd and long coming up here, Susie.
Guys, you're talking about Chris McAllister. He uses a technique that all of us frequent travelers can relate to. He says he keeps his eyes on the luggage. In this case, guys like Rod, Javon, they're his luggage tonight. He said pre-snap, Jake is his priority. Keep your eye on the quarterback, but as soon as the ball is snapped, it's back to his receiver, back to the luggage. He said you can't be looking at Jake when your luggage is getting lost or running down the field.
Sounds like a report from somebody who lost their luggage earlier this week.
Yeah, Susie, you're comfortable with that, aren't you?
3rd and 11. They need to get to the 31 for a first down. In and out of the hands of Walker, incomplete. Samari roll, and he's not an easy guy to throw at either on that other corner. Brings up 4th down.
With a game of this type, the first downs that the Broncos got were very, very important because now you played the field position game. You back the Ravens up. The Ravens going 80, 70 yards for a touchdown, highly unlikely in this game. So you continue to...
They haven't even gone 12 yards
You
for a
continue
touchdown.
to play the field position game. Now, you just can't kick this in the end zone. You have to kick it out inside the 20.
Ernster pinned New England back 4 different times inside the 20. Able to get that one off. Sams with the fair catch at the 13-yard line. Just to clean up, Todd Sauerbrunn, the 3-time Pro Bowler, has been suspended for a banned supplement ephedra before camp that he used. That suspension ends after this game. Matt Stover. Field goal in the second by Jason Elam. Punts, turnovers, cold, rain, and a lot of noise in between.
2 defenses knocking the living daylights out of the offense.
Baltimore takes over at its own 4-2. More first down throws this half. Todd Heap, 1 yard. Nick Ferguson the tackle. We're seeing great defenses tonight. Great defenses over the era of the National Football League. Go back to Eller and the Purple People Eaters, Lambert, Green, Greenwood, and the Steel Curtain. The Doomsday defense, Jones, Martin, White. The Monsters of the Midway 2, Singletary, and of course the Bears championship defense. The Ravens in 2000. Remember, the Ravens offense didn't score a touchdown in 5 games. Still, this team went to and won the Super Bowl with Ray Lewis leading the charge. And now the Baltimore defense in that neighborhood again here in 2006, and Denver making its claim early on in the season. Jamal Lewis runs it, pulled down by Michael Myers and Al Wilson.
The only one that didn't have a nickname in that bunch were the Baltimore Ravens. I want to call them the Baltimore Bullies.
These guys.
Yeah, these guys should be called the Baltimore Bullies. They need a nickname. Start printing the T-shirts.
What would you call Denver? Denver's just as good?
Really good.
Of course, Denver fans are saying, wait a minute, don't forget the Orange Crush defense that we had for many years here.
And then you have
the Bad Boys. Here's
you
one.
have Chicago this year as well. Those are the 3 best defenses.
The Bad Boys in blue.
That's too long for a nickname, Joe.
All right. Bad blue.
3rd and 5 against a 4-man rush underneath to the tight end, Dan Wilcox. First down, kept it alive as Foxworth brings him down at the 28. Good job by the fourth-year man out of Appalachian State, converted wide receiver who's caught a couple of touchdowns this year.
What great defenses do is they make you earn every yard that you're going to get, and also they make you use a lot of plays. And percentages say if you use a lot of plays, you'll make a mistake somewhere. And so that's what the great defenses do. They set themselves up for the opportunity for the turnover.
Winding down toward the end of the third quarter. Jamal Lewis, who's carried it 15 times tonight, stopped with a gain of 1, and that'll get us to the fourth quarter. Nothing in the third.
Ray Lewis made the comment.
No hits, no runs, no errors.
End of 3. 3.
Life, you go take it. You earn it. Yes, sir. We earn it by go hitting them in the mouth all night long. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
A little sense from the 7-time Pro Bowler John Lynch of what it feels and sounds like to be a part of this 3-3 game as we begin the fourth quarter.
Here's what I want to know. Who makes those microphones? They are holding up great. That company is a stock big company.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers could use that kind of leadership right now.
Lynch, the former Buck, there for their Super Bowl. Out of the timeout, we begin with second down, and Mike Anderson, the former Bronco, running with a purpose across the 39-yard line. First down, Nick Ferguson made the tackle as the quarter begins.
He gained a lot of yards here in this ballpark. It's good for him to keep gaining them, coming back with another team.
So it's the fourth quarter, and Steve McNair, whose numbers aren't eye-popping numbers when you look at the total numbers for the year, pretty good in the fourth quarter, and especially when the game has come down to you must score on the drive to win, and it has the last 2 weeks.
And his teammates believe in him. That's the key. They believe in him, and he's produced.
Anderson again. And Mike Anderson gets himself another first down. You know, Trevor Price is returning, a former Bronco in this game, playing for Baltimore, as is Anderson. And Anderson was less vocal during the week about his return. As mentioned, he was a free agent, had very productive years here. Watching him follow Terrell Davis with the mile-high salute over the years just sticks in your mind. 1,000-yard back, and Mike Anderson with a lot of meaning personally for this game tonight.
This is what happens with a big offensive line and a smaller, quick defense. You keep them out on the field for a while, they lose their effectiveness. Your size starts to dominate.
Joe, you're going with momentum every time the other team gets the ball.
Sure. That's what it is. It's a game of momentum.
Running out of 2 tights. Here's Anderson again. And he takes it to the 46-yard line. Al Wilson made the tackle.
Mentioned this earlier in the game that I thought Brian Billick was the most fortunate guy in the NFL because of Steve McNair landing in his lap. Billick talked to us the other day about meetings he had with Steve Bisciotti, the owner, and Ozzie Newsome, the general manager. They would take 4 and 5 hours at a time, whether or not they wanted Billick back, whether or not he wanted to come back at that point. After this play, I'll tell you what Billick said about those meetings.
Last 3 plays have been Mike Anderson runs of 10, 10, and 4. Only 1 receiver here. Maybe play action time. Straight drop McNair. Hit as he delivers downfield for Heap. Incomplete.
Getting back to the story, as I said, the meetings are 4 and 5 hours long, and Billick said some of it was so raw. After these discussions, I would say to them, you guys know I'm sitting in the same room with you, right? Because you are taking some big chunks out of me. He would go home and talk to his wife, and she would say, they can't talk to you like that. And Brian said, I said, honey, they're saying the same things you've been saying to me for years. And she said, yeah, but I'm your wife. Billick wanted to stay. He wanted to be a 12 or 13-year coach with Baltimore, like Mike Shanahan is with Denver.
McNair to Jamal Lewis. Dropped it. 4th down.
Got to have that one, Joe.
You do.
Got to have that one.
There's no
He wasn't going to get the first down.
No guarantee he's going to get the first down.
Al Wilson standing right there. He ain't going anywhere.
But, Mike, the other thing, we mentioned this about the Denver Broncos. Now, all of a sudden, the Ravens have accomplished a couple, 3 first downs. All of a sudden, you back the Broncos up, you put your defense back out on the field, you play the percentages. One score.
Wilson was on the inside. You saw Ian Gold from that angle. He was there as well. Trying to punch from the sideline. Cook has it go well off the side of his foot. A shank in a game of field position. One thing you don't need is what you just got there. A 10-yard punt. Denver's defense pushed a little bit. They stopped, and the bad punt gives the Broncos good field position. These hardy fans here in Denver have sat through a night where the temperature's been under the 40s from kickoff, a rainy night. Good field position for the Broncos.
That's what your helmet looks like after you've been hit by the Ravens.
After the 10-yard punt to take over the 36, Tatum Bell gains 4 yards to the 40. Joe, very small, unsexy thing, net punting, but here's a big mistake.
Decision, it shanks off the right side of his foot. They're trying to angle kick to the right when you don't need to get that creative. All you need to do is kick it high in the air, pooch it, angle it somewhere. Even if they give him the ball on the 20,
look at Billick's reaction.
It's a huge improvement. Brian just, he knows how critical every play is in this game.
And Sam Cook, the rookie out of Nebraska, and Mike Shanahan, he likes to get that angle so he can call his plays as he looks at his offense and then the defense. He even is in that spot during the week at practice. Tatum Bell right back into the line. Hasn't been much for Tatum other than one big carry tonight. So here we are in a close game. And Jake Plummer, for all the things we've said about Jake Plummer, look at the company he's in. I mean, John Elway, I know Marino has it, but the winning a game in a tight game or a come-from-behind situation, and this is the tight games, Elway kind of defined that over his career. And there's Jake Plummer right behind Elway.
The guy you wouldn't expect. I mean, on the other side of the field, McNair has won 2 games late so far this year. But Plummer, 27-10, games decided by 3 points or fewer, is a great statistic.
You can make the argument to win any game in Arizona, it had to be a come-from-behind win during his years there. A design run, got a block, got the first down, lost the ball, but out of bounds. It'll stay with the Broncos and be spotted at the 45-yard line.
In the course of a football game, a quarterback has to make 2 plays for you, resulting in first down. This is just student body right. Terrific job out front by the offensive line, and Jake Plummer just made one of them. Hasn't done it with his arm, but his competitiveness and his legs create opportunity. We saw him get outside on a bootleg, make a big pass to Javon Walker. Now he does the same thing with his legs to pick up a crucial first down.
And for all the talk of their small offensive lineman, the biggest guy, George Foster, the 338-pound tackle, was the one coming around to clear the path for a guy who looked like the old Jake the Snake from his Arizona State days on that play. With the fumble forward, comes back to the mark spot at the 45. Broncos in Ravens territory. 4 and change gone by in the 4th. Bell's tackled by Bart Scott, among others. Bart was banged up on the last play. Bart Scott's an amazing story. Kid from a tough section of Detroit. He really had a tough opportunity of getting out of that neighborhood because a lot of his friends have been killed. A lot of his friends died. He was able to get out, go to Southern Illinois, played safety and linebacker for 3 years there. He wasn't getting a sniff from out of that 1AA school. As a matter of fact, that was the year the Chicago Bears played their games in Champaign while they redid Soldier Field. So he was just an hour and a half away in Carbondale. But he couldn't even get his tape from the Bears scout passed around. The Ravens came to his protesting day at Southern Illinois, signed him. He filled in for Ray Lewis last year. Star backer this year in the league. Plummer, deep ball for David Perkis, incomplete. Chris McAllister on coverage. Hey, Susie, you got more on Bart Scott?
Well, it was funny because I called Brian Urlacher really to get his impressions on Ray Lewis, and the first thing out of his mouth was, every time he turns on the TV, he sees this guy, Bart Scott. Who is that? Well, I talked to his linebacker coach, Jeff Fitzgerald, and he told me that this guy just kept flashing so much on special teams, so much in practice. They realized he was too valuable to keep him on the sideline. He has all of the characteristics you want in a linebacker, the mindset, and just how aggressive he is on game day. It's rare to find.
Led the league in sacks coming in with 5. He was the AFC Defensive Player of the Month in September. Now defending on 3rd down. Plummer complete to Rod Smith, who, what else is new? Makes a big first down catch for the Broncos.
Sometimes when you're a quarterback and you're in a funk through a game, you get out and run and do something that gets you hit a little bit, you come out of it. Jake does a real nice job of hanging in the pocket, seeing the entire field. And what I mean by seeing the entire field, it's knowing where all the receivers are so you can get the ball out of your hand.
And again, all of this because of a mistake with the punt. If you're playing field position, you should have backed Denver all the way up inside their 20, inside their 15.
Run with Cecil Sapp right up the middle to the 28-yard line. Those of you just click it in here at 11 o'clock, it's 3-3, but it's been good defensive football. It has been hard-nosed football from two of the units who in September said, we are going to make our name on defense here this year. A couple of turnovers early on. The first one led to a field goal. Ravens have only given up 160 yards. The Broncos, who came into this game saying, you know, the Ravens get a lot of credit. They won the Super Bowl with defense in 2000. They got Ray Lewis. They have Ed Reed. Hey, we're pretty good on defense, too. Tonight they've shown it, as you see the stats there. There was a 10-yard punt that gave Denver good field position, has them here at the 28, and now working again up the middle with Cecil Sapp, just shy of the 25. This is a guy who played up at Fort Collins in Colorado State for 4 good years.
This is a critical down for the Baltimore Raven defense because the clock's running down to 8:30. If the Broncos can pick up a first down, they'll be able to burn almost 3 minutes off the clock. And that puts Steve McNair in a must-throw scenario like he's been in the last couple weeks. But this defense, make it tougher for him to get what he wants to. Some points at the other end.
From here, field goal 44 yards. Don't want to take a sack if you're the Broncos. They brought in Brandon Marshall, the receiver. Kirkus couldn't hang on, incomplete, as they went for Kirkus for the 4th time tonight. He went up high, couldn't bring it in.
What defense,
and it appears to be shaken up for a moment.
What defense by the Baltimore Ravens. They jumped all over him trying to come back and make a play on the ball. Nowhere to breathe. Chris McAllister.
We have Rod Smith and Javon Walker, but it's Kirkus and Brandon Marshall and Quincy Morgan, who came in as a kick returners, their other receivers. Broncos need to find a third receiving option if they want to do some of the things they've done well downfield.
We talked about special teams being important. Ed Reed almost had a shot at blocking the last punt. Ed Reed has blocked 4 kicks so far in this league. He's on the left side of your screen. He's on the left side of the formation for the Baltimore Ravens. He is really, really quick and good going after the ball.
Mike Leach snaps. Jake Plummer holds. Jason Elam, the 14th-year kicker out of Hawaii, to give the Broncos the lead. To go. 6-3 Denver. Able to muster in the first 52 minutes of this one. 6-3 Denver leads for the first time tonight.
Mike, in the first 7 possessions, Denver had the ball 13 minutes. In their last 2, they've had it 10 minutes.
All Ernster's kickoff to B.J. Sams drives him back into the end zone. And Sams, who was arrested on Tuesday for a DUI, second time in 14 months, but active here tonight. No return. Before 1940 in the NFL, very few points, a lot of low-scoring games. In the last 64 years, fewest touchdowns allowed to start the season. Miami, 2000, 1 touchdown allowed. This Broncos defense, 1 touchdown allowed. The fans at Invesco Field at Mile High, a 12th man the remainder of this game. McNair to the air, just a little screen, good room to run for Musa Smith. John Lynch really took a hard shot there as the play comes out to the 38-yard line, and Lynch might be shaken up.
We mentioned a little bit earlier how good Jake Plummer has been in close games. This is the circumstance that Steve McNair found himself in the last 2 games already, where he's produced touchdowns very late in the game. One of the people at the Ravens said that he hasn't done much until the 4th quarter. In the 4th quarter, he's been like Michael Jordan. And Derek Mason, who played with him for 8 years in Tennessee, said Steve has been in this situation so many times, down 3 points, down 6 points, having to drive the length of the field. Not too many quarterbacks in the league are built for that. Steve McNair is.
As they look at John Lynch on the field.
Well, you also, I mean, remember the Super Bowl against the Rams. Tennessee almost won it for him at the end. Derek Mason reaches over, can't quite get it in. Steve McNair, when you watch him practice, when you talk to him, when you watch him in a game, he's unflappable. He's very calm, and that transcends to the entire football team.
The
it's
word
exactly
that everybody uses about him is calm, his sense of calm, which is transmitted, and everybody feels like they can be calm as well.
Everybody else is flying around. The defense is flying around. He stays in a pocket as long as he has to, waiting things out.
Looking at John Lynch here, very slow to get up. He came in there at full speed and jogs off the field. Do a big hand. Let's watch the play again.
He does not want to miss the end of this one.
He got rolled over by Kedrick Vincent. Helmet and helmet colliding there at the back end of that play. And John grabbed to his head right away. So he comes to the sideline, and as you've heard and seen, he's been in on so many plays for the Broncos here tonight. Musa Smith with the carry to the 41-yard line.
Mike, I want to clean up the Super Bowl. It wasn't Derek Mason. It was Kevin Dyson that almost got the ball in the end zone against the Rams.
And Mike Jones of the Rams made the tackle at the 1-yard line, allowing Dick Vermeil in St. Louis to win the Super Bowl.
Very few passes have been attempted down the field, and that's simply because the quarterbacks just don't have enough time to be able to give guys to get into routes.
With Lynch out, Sam Brandon, 42, has played a lot tonight as the big nickel, the fifth defensive back, is in. McNair, a second thought on the throw, and it's incomplete, broken up by Champ Bailey. Intended for Mason, who wanted a flag.
Champ Bailey never takes his eyes off of Steve McNair. He's looking, stays with him. Just so quick, he's beyond good. He's great. He really is.
Remember what Mike Shanahan told us? He has such a clock in his head, an understanding of quarterback can't have much more time. That helps him play such blanket defense.
Plus, when you line up the way he does, you better have quick hips if the receiver takes off down the field.
Need to get to the 48. McNair has time, but no open receivers. Now throws. It is intercepted by Darren Williams. Bailey makes the play on the last one. The other corner, Darren Williams, intercepts McNair. Bronco ball at the 45. Pittsburgh, we have 9 total points here tonight. Tatum Bell is the back. Plummer throwing with a 3-point lead. Hauled in by Javon Walker, who breaks out of the would-be Edwards tackle to go to the 28-yard line.
That's Mike Shanahan. And that's Jake Plummer delivering at the end of a ball game. Mike Shanahan, you don't want to call him a riverboat gambler, but he is not going to back off and back this offense down. He's going to keep on coming at you. Put a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage to stop the run. Fine. We'll just throw the football.
Plummer's so much better in the second half than in the first half. So much better.
It's like in the season. Remember, he said he just wants to get people mad at him.
Well,
when he throws those interceptions.
He has certainly succeeded here.
And then
not tonight, maybe.
Then he digs himself out of a hole.
Gain was 27. Quick hit, that Sapp. A couple of yards. Cecil pushing forward to the 25. Hey, Joe, can you go back to the interception? What happened there?
I certainly can, Michael. I'm going to circle Mark Clayton for you. He's in the slot. That Mark Clayton, that's Williams right there. What you're going to see, Clayton goes down and runs a corner route, but Darren Williams does not jump up on Todd Heap. He hangs back. He baits McNair, and Steve just makes a bad decision. It's a bad throw, period. That's got no chance of getting home.
Remember, a minute to go in the first half, McNair had the ball down deep in Denver's territory. Then the Champ Bailey interception. Since then, McNair's thrown for only 38 yards, and Denver's controlled the clock a lot better here tonight. To the air again from the 25. Plummer, Walker, Javon Walker. Denver first down. Broncos in the red zone. We're coming up on 5 minutes left in the game.
Had a chance to spend some time with Javon Walker in the locker room on Saturday, and he said after his surgery last year, the doctors told him that his knee would come back stronger than it had been. That all of a sudden just said, listen, for me, getting ready is just going to be a tune-up. There's one guy in Green Bay, Wisconsin that really, really misses Javon Walker, and that's Brett Favre. He gives him a big target, and he gives him a guy who can make tough catches and blocks well.
1st and 10. Kyle Johnson, fullback, just a couple of yards. Hello, Tinata, in there on the tackle. Michelle, update on John Lynch?
Yes, things are going well for Denver, not so well for John Lynch. He is questionable to return because he has a pinched nerve in his neck. As you take a look at what happened, guys, when he came to the bench and sat down, the athletic trainers came over immediately, and the first area of his neck they looked at was the area that has a scar on it. Let's remember, John Lynch's career was almost ended in Tampa Bay by a neck injury. They were touching and pressing right around that scar to see what was going on. Anyway, the final result is pinched nerve, questionable return.
Bucks released him after that surgery, Michelle, in 2003. 2nd down, and Javon Walker has it on the reverse. Plummer, a little bit of a block. Walker tried to get back to the line of scrimmage. We have John Lynch wired, obviously, tonight. Let's listen to him over on the bench.
I made the tackle, and then a lineman came and just hit me.
Where do you hurt?
I got a stinger down my left end, my thumb.
Just the left side, or go down the right side at all?
No, not the right.
Okay, now, are you sore back in there at all?
No, I'm okay.
I'm okay. Let me go back in.
Vintage John Lynch.
Clock running down to 3:20.
3rd down here in field goal range. They will run it with Tatum Bell carrying for the 1st down to the 5-yard line. Now, there was a knock on Tatum Bell. Mike Shanahan even said almost a prima donna in his first year or two. I needed to see that he could get the hard, tough yards. 3rd and 9 between the tackles. Ravens defense, hard yards, huge 1st down.
Tatum Bell, when he appeared to lose the job, at least in preseason, to Mike Bell. Tatum Bell asked about this the other day, said, it got to me, it lit a fire under me, it worked. He wanted to show Shanahan that he was the back, indeed, that Shanahan wanted. And he won the job back, and look what he's done.
What's going to happen is the Broncos are going to take a timeout just before the 25 or 40-second clock expires to be able to continue to run the clock down and force Baltimore to use their timeouts.
Baltimore has 2 remaining here, and you obviously have the 2-minute warning, so they'll be able to quicken this entire series if they can keep them out of the end zone. You're seeing great defense here tonight from 2 teams. The Chicago Bears have been fabulous, opening up undefeated. Bears in Arizona to take on the Cardinals, and Matt Leinart and Edgerrin James and that awesome new stadium that they have out in Glendale, 8:30 Eastern next week on Monday Night Football. 5-0, 36 points allowed. Yesterday, Buffalo got the wrath of the 06 Bears.
But the biggest difference is Rex Grossman. Bernard Berrien and Rex Grossman have lit it up. He just puts the ball in the air, and of course, you know, it's Chicago Bears defense. They're active just like the 2 we see tonight, and you can't throw the ball blindly because everybody can catch.
All they needed last year was an offense. They had this same defense in place. This year, they have that offense.
They have a throwing offense.
Yep.
Yep. That's why I don't think anybody beats them.
Ever?
Ever. I think they can go right on through.
We're going to hold you to this if you've got them 16-0.
They'll be happy to see you.
Actually, it'll be 19.
That's
20.
nuts.
1st and goal out of the timeout from the 5. Tatum Bell, about a half yard there. Let's see if Baltimore will, as the pile continues here.
Was there a fumble? Ray Lewis has the ball.
We heard the whistles early on. It's 2nd down, the 2-minute warning. Baltimore let the clock come down all the way to 2 minutes here instead of taking that timeout after the 1st down play. 2nd down when we come back. Brian Billick on the left, looking to join Chicago and Indianapolis with his team as an undefeated team here at the end of Week 5, but they are backed up against it as Mike Shanahan's team, off the win at New England, tries to win a second home game of the year without benefit of a touchdown. It's 6-3 at the 2-minute warning. Billick has told the officials he'll use his last 2 timeouts, but Denver might score and make that a moot point. They'll throw here for Rod Smith. Caught it. Touchdown, Broncos. Jason Elam. 13-3 Denver. A 4-yard touchdown pass to Rod Smith.
I want you to look at and remember how Champ Bailey played the corner looking at the quarterback. Chris McAllister is focused totally on Rod Smith. Never sees the ball get thrown in the air. Rod Smith just fades away from him. You have to keep an eye on the quarterback. You have to know what's going on with the football. He totally has no idea when the ball is thrown.
And a good pass by the much maligned Jake Plummer, much maligned by me.
You.
Yes,
by you.
Absolutely. This is another game. It's not going to be decided by 3 points or fewer at this point, but this is another game where Plummer, in a very close game, saved his best for the end and played very well.
And how about the confidence that Mike Shanahan shows in him by putting the ball in the air? Look at his numbers in the first half, and look at his numbers in the second half.
He'll always be compared in this stadium to John Elway, but at least he's going to go home tonight and think, I did my job. They're not going to hate me until next week. They've got this week to love me at least.
He doesn't care.
All second half. Quick throws, rolling out in the pocket, found a comfort zone for Jake. And what a comfort zone when you throw to Rod Smith, who is as good as any wide receiver who was never drafted in the NFL, and adds to that with his 66th career touchdown. Ernster the kick, remember, a very good kick returner in B.J. Sams. He's taken down shy of the 30-yard line by Keith Burns. Michelle Tafoya.
Mike Tirico. Rod Smith owns every major receiving record for the Broncos, but he wants to be judged by his wins and losses. And take a look at that. His win percentage, higher even than Jerry Rice's. He told me earlier, judge me by my wins and losses just like you judge quarterbacks. And in fact, that's a pretty remarkable record. He grants you that Rice has played about double the amount of games he has played, but not bad. And by the way, Mike, that touchdown ball that he caught, look at that. He rarely keeps them. He signs them, donates them to auctions, or gives them away just like that.
Neat deal. McNair's got to make something happen quick here. Michelle is Clayton. Gain of 8. Second down. Was he touched? Was he touched? Now we're hearing whistles. Very interesting play there. And Brian Billick wants to know what's going to happen with the clock here.
They're going to have to take the clock back a good 10, 12 seconds. It's continuing to run.
The whistle came late. They're not stopping the clock. Let's check if he was touched as he came down. Yeah.
But he got up to run again. That's
well, there's no whistle blew. Clock continued to run all the way through at 1:13. It's a catch and out of bounds.
That was a loss of a good 12 seconds.
Mason at least smart enough to stop the clock there with the first down at the 42.
You knew this game was going to do two things. The defenses weren't going to give up much, and there would be 1, 2, maybe 3 plays in this game that would determine the outcome. Turnovers, bad decisions, bad throws, and that's what's hurt the Ravens.
And going up against Larry Coyer's defense. Boy, they made names for themselves in this game. Musa Smith out of the backfield to the 45, first down. Clock continuing now, stopped here by Billick as it got under a minute.
To Joe's point on that, obviously turnovers never come at opportune times. But what happened to Baltimore, their 3 mistakes came at absolutely critical times. They're driving, it's under a minute to go, the end of the first half. Instead of settling for 3, they go for the big strike to go up 10-3 at that point. They get nothing as Champ Bailey makes an interception. They have a terrible punt. When they then begin to play that game of field position, they have a terrible 10-yard punt. And Denver's able to go back down the field. They're not trapped at all. And then when McNair has to lead them down the field, McNair gets intercepted, by the other corner. So the 3 mistakes they make come at worse times than the mistakes Denver makes.
Clock set back to 1 minute. Here's Susie Colbert.
Well, not making excuses for Steve McNair, but think of the challenges he's up against. As his quarterback coach, Rick Neuheisel, explained, he's had 3 months to learn a new offense. He likened it from going from Germany to France. We'll see what Steve can do right here.
From the 45, 1 timeout left. This throw to Todd Heap, who pitches it back, trying to keep a hook and ladder play. Should have paid more attention to getting out of bounds was Mark Clayton, and he was ruled out of bounds with the first down. Go ahead, Susie.
Well, like I said, from Germany to France, it's like learning a brand new language. Once you get there, you might be able to order off the menu, but you can't have a conversation. So Steve isn't quite yet fluent in this new language. The one thing we know he can speak, though, is end-of-game heroics, but it doesn't seem to be enough time to get it done here.
They still have a chance with a timeout, a score. They need an onside kick, but need to score here in the next couple of plays. Time here, deflected in the air and intercepted to close it out. Dominique Foxworth. It was tipped by Gerard Warren. Foxworth through the would-be tackle, goes down at the 35, and Denver will hand Baltimore its first loss of the season.
Larry Coyer throwing a curve, just like we've seen Rex Ryan do, the coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. Drop one of the big linemen back where he can just get in the way. He may not catch it, but he sure can create a tip drill. Number 61, right in your picture, right in Steve's view. The ball's going right over him. He just tips it up in the air. Now he becomes a blocker. Say to yourself, he's so big, how do you not see him?
You know how Mike Shanahan said the other day, this is not the team, the Baltimore Ravens, you'd want to meet without a week to prepare. Coming out of the bye week, Denver will win this game. Now Denver has a record coming out of bye weeks of 14-4. That's the best in the NFL.
Well, you see the interceptions there tonight, 3. And they came pretty close to, after John Lynch said, guys, they got the 2 turnovers. We need to come up with our own. And he does. Steve McNair was intercepted on 3 of his final 17 passes. And in his 200th NFL game as a head coach, Mike Shanahan will get his 125th win. He and Brian Billick, 2 Super Bowl champion coaches, shake hands there. Well, 200 games, 125 more wins. Shula, Hallis, Lambeau, Bud Grant, and Joe Gibbs. And now Mike Shanahan will join Chuck Knox and Marty Schottenheimer. 125 wins in the first 200 games as a head coach.
I don't think it's coincidental. Marty Schottenheimer's San Diego Chargers and these Denver Broncos are pretty good.
And we'll go down to Michelle Tafoya with Jake Plummer.
All right, thanks very much, Mike. Jake, what was going through your mind as you threw that touchdown pass to Rod Smith?
I just wanted to give him a chance. I know I missed a couple opportunities early, and we had a chance down there. I just wanted to give him a chance because the ball's in the air. I know Rod's going to come down with it, and he did. So big play at a big time.
It was a big play. In fact, it almost looked like he didn't see the throw. What did you think when he caught it, how he caught it?
Well, he was down and caught it, and then I was just hoping he secured it. I couldn't really see. It was blocked, but there were some big plays to get down there. You know, Javon made a couple big ones, a couple big runs. It's team effort. You know, we stuck together tonight. It was ugly for a while, but in the end, we came and put together some drives when it counted.
Congratulations, Jake. The defense played well. Susie's with Champ Bailey.
Well, and Champ with an interception. What does it mean to you when you're on the field with a defense like the Ravens?
I'll tell you what, you know, we heard all the hype about it. Had to get out there, run the ball, make some plays. But at the same time, we got a good defense too. I think we proved that tonight. I mean, we got a lot of things we can work on, but I tell you what, we made a start to something good. I'll tell you what, we take one game at a time. We got the Raiders next week. We plan on doing the same thing next week.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Super.
Al Wilson had 16 tackles total, part of that great defensive effort. They've only allowed 1 touchdown in 4 games, plus 5 minutes of overtime. The Broncos are 3-1. Oakland comes in here on Sunday evening. Baltimore loses for the first time. They go home to get Carolina. Sports Center is next. We see you next week from Arizona with the undefeated Chicago Bears. With Joe Theismann.